forward. Let me do that again because sometimes I get cut off. What's happening, everybody? Professor Bobby Borg here. And today what I'm going to talk about is solo artists and bands, a really important subject because bands break down and solo artists give up, right? So I want to talk a little bit about the business and legal aspects of bands and solo artists, but also I would just want to talk about the general nature of bands and solo artists too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at things like for bands, I'm going to check out things like internal band agreements. I'm going to look at things like partnerships, band contracts, whether or not you need an attorney to write a band contract. And then I'm also going to do something called the personality questionnaire. Then we'll take a look and we'll do a quick look at solo artists real quick. We'll look at the pros and cons of solo artists. Um, and then I think that should pretty much close it up real quick. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about student teams as well. Some of you guys that are watching this are obviously currently in student teams. So I think it's important to talk about that real quick. So let's go ahead and talk about band partnerships. So let's do this. So first of all, what is a partnership? So a partnership is a legal business entity recognized by the state. So what I mean by that is that typically when people think of partners, they think of kind of like howdy partner or like hey we're partners. You know, they think of it kind of like in the fun sort of plain language kind of way of how partnership is used, and they don't think of it sort of as a legal business entity, such as when you would talk about limited liability companies or corporations. But it's important to know that a partnership is recognized by the state as a legal business entity, okay? So number two, how is a partnership formed? A partnership is formed when two or more people come together and they share willingly in the profits and losses of their business. So what that basically means is you could come together with other band members. You could make small investments in the recording of of the record for the band. Maybe you can actually make small investments in getting a website or made or whatever the case might be. And 0% of zero is zero. which basically means the songs aren't worth anything. So why are you going to start fighting over something that's not worth anything yet? It's just probably the best thing right now is for everybody to come together and be loyal to each other. All right, the band name. So if I come up with a band name, does it make it mine? Like, no. Trademarks are formed through usage and commerce. So if we're all using the name limited to the geographical region in which we're using it, we all own that name in that region. Okay. It behooves the band to go to uspto.gov to actually get a federal trademark registration so you can secure the rights in other territories as well. And you want to do this particularly if you're going to start traveling or you're selling merchandise across borders. Okay, things like hiring and firing. Like, how can a member be hired or fired should go into the agreement. Obligations, what each member is obligated to do, right? That's very important. Disputes, like, how are you going to resolve disputes? Is it going to be mediation where somebody comes in to assist, or arbitration where someone comes in and decides for you? Indemnification, that basically means that if I do something really stupid in the course of business, we're all sort of liable for that misconduct. So if we indemnify each other from that misconduct, then essentially what that means is someone sued us for me doing something stupid, like kicking someone in their face, like when I'm on stage or something. That person sues us for dental bills or something. Then basically the band then could turn around and sue me for being an idiot. And then an addendum of the agreement. How is the agreement going to be amended? Is it, what kind of vote will it take for it to be changed? Okay. All right. Now, a couple things. Do you need an attorney to actually write a band membership agreement? And the truth is, no. You could just write it on a piece of paper. You could write it on a napkin, for that matter, and it would be legal, right? But it wouldn't hurt maybe to use one of the legal services like Nolo or LegalZoom. But just keep in mind, sometimes those templates really kind of trap you into certain things, and you might want to say something a little bit different in your agreement. So my suggestion is create a band agreement, decide on what you guys want together, and then hire an attorney down the line when it looks like the band is really going to be a viable, thing, and then get an attorney and spend your money then. Okay. All right. Moving on real quick. So you might be thinking, God, this kind of sucks. Like, you're in a band, it's all fun and cool, but then you have to have like a band membership agreement in case, shit goes south and everybody starts fighting about stupid stuff. Right. So I have something called a personality questionnaire. That basically means that you go through extra trouble to make sure that you hire people in the first place, so potentially you don't get into any conflicts. There's no guarantee, obviously, that that's going to happen, right? But here's a couple things to think about. Tenacity. Is that person going to be in it for the long haul? Priority. Are they going to focus and give priority to this and not other things like their soccer practice and like or going to parties on a Saturday or something? Continual improvement. They're always willing to keep on learning. They don't have a big ego, and they're willing to take advice. Like if you're like, hey, you need to work on your vocals, or drummer, you need to play with a metronome or work on your time, right? They're open to that continual improvement. Visual image. Image is very, very important in a band, and everybody has to be kind of collectively on the same page with that. So it's not like three people with one look and then the one guy that's just completely off. Social behavior. Do you drink, smoke, do any drugs? Like, next topic, addiction. That's really what we want to focus on. Addiction. Does anybody have any problems? Because if they're showing problems now, I would not get into business with them. Contribution is everybody contributed equally. Flexibility. Are you flexible? Like, I mean, are you being rigid? Like, I can only rehearse on Monday and Tuesday, or I can't go out on tour because I'm working at McDonald's. That's just stupidity. Right? So you have to be flexible and willing to pick up and get the hell out if you have to. Ruggedness, you're tough because it's tough out there on the road. Relocation, are you willing to maybe move to a place that might be better for the group? Cheaper rent for rehearsal rooms, maybe less stress. You know, um, you know, do you have to be in LA? Um, Relationships, are you bogged down by like toxic relationships? That always screws up a band. Exclusivity, you're working with my band, not 10 others. An agenda, your agenda is for this band to be successful and nothing else. Okay, you guys. So that's just a couple things to think about. As far as like group teams, like for example, let's just say for those of you that are in university right now, what are the important things to kind of think about? I would say, you know, definitely think about in terms of personality and stuff. People that are going to be there for you, and they're not going to like flake on you. That's obviously the really big issue, and they're not going to leave you with doing all the work. Okay. All right. So I said I was going to talk about solo artists. Let's hit that real quick. What are the pros and cons of being a solo artist? Sorry about that, you guys. Call was coming in. So as you guys know right now, the majority of music that you hear on the charts and you hear on the radio and you hear on streaming playlists are solo artists, right? So let's talk about solo artists really quickly. What are the pros and cons of solo artists? Well, being a solo artist is great because there's fewer hassles over making decisions, right? When you're in a band, sometimes you could get bogged down by the stupidest things. Increased earning potential because it's only you, greater job security because you're not going to fire yourself, right? And more freedom to sail alone. I mean, if you wanted to, you could pick up and go to Europe and just sit there and write for 3 months if you wanted to. You can't do that when you're in a band, it's more difficult. What are some of the cons? Greater financial burden. You have to make all the investments, increased workload, all of the work is on you, greater leadership demands when you're hiring like musicians to play with you and stuff. Sometimes it's hard to be like a leader, and and some people are a little shy and might not be able to take that role. Fewer members to hide behind. When you're a solo artist, man, if it's the Bobby Borg band is going to get the shitty review if a shitty review is warranted. You can't really hide behind anyone else, so it's going to be tough, and then more pressure to succeed sometimes. It's all on you. Okay. um, that's it, you guys. This is just kind of an overview of bands and solo artists. I hope you found it helpful. That's pretty much it. My name is Bobby Borg, helping musicians turn the art to more successful business. Peace, love, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.